The world has problems. About a third of its population, 2 billion people, live and die without access to clean water or proper sanitation. 1 in every 5 women in the U.S. will be raped at some point in her life. We're still losing an area the size of Panama to slash and burn deforestation each year. And in the next hour, about 500 African children will have died of malnutrition. These problems are big, and it takes a lot to solve them. Big hearts, big ideas, and most of the time, big money. Trouble is, most of us fall into these bottom 2 categories. Very few people have all 3, and up until now, we've pretty much left the world changing to them. I, for one, don't have $500,000, and this fact used to keep me up at night, until I realized that while I don't and may never have $500,000 to spare, because of social media, I am connected to 500,000 people who might have $1 to spare. And that's where Tipping Bucket comes in. Tipping Bucket has 3 main objectives. First, we want to put changing the world on the dollar menu, so that no one, not the 16-year-old struggling to pass trig for the second time, not the college student living off ramen, not the single mom working 2 jobs to pay the rent, no one has to feel too small to make a difference, because they know their dollar can change the world. Next, we want to make social innovation a household word. We think people should know about this guy who helps turn gang members into gardeners, and these guys setting up local economies that help keep African girls in school, and how this woman helps Indian street children prevent domestic violence. We know these examples will inspire people. So our third mission is to give the next generation of world changers everything they need to succeed. We outfit our partners with holistic capital, giving them the knowledge, skills, and connections as well as cash, so they're ready for the trials and triumphs of changing the world. Let me show you how this works. This is Mark. Mark has an idea. He wants to build a mobile AIDS clinic to service communities in rural Botswana. He posts his idea to the Tipping Bucket website, and then experts, mentors, and friends help him take it from great idea to sustainable plan. They evaluate the doability, readiness, impact, propriety, and sustainability of the proposal, and give Mark concrete feedback and suggestions to help him refine his plan. When the Tipping Bucket reviewers think Mark's project is ready, they put it in line for a turn in the bucket. Projects go into the bucket one at a time. Think causes.woot.com, each with their own financial tipping point and a deadline. Users add drops to the bucket. 1 click adds $1. If the bucket tips before time runs out, pledge donations are collected and the project moves forward. If not, none of the transactions are processed and the next project gets its turn in the bucket. So users only actually give to a project that has everything it needs to succeed. In other words, change the world or your money back. As soon as the Botswana clinic goes into the bucket, Mark tells his friends, they tell their friends, and the drops start pouring in. This is Kelly. She's never been to Botswana, or even outside the US for that matter, but she sees Mark's project in the bucket, thinks it's a good idea, and decides to add a drop. She also asks the Tipping Bucket to keep her updated on Mark's project and invites some of her friends to add drops as well. So through the phenomenon of social networking and a collection of simple but powerful tools, Mark's project gets funded by thousands of other people just like him, and Mark has everything he needs to move forward and change the world. 6 months later, Mark and his local partners in Botswana finish the clinic and start treating their first patients. He sends Kelly photos from the ribbon-cutting ceremony and thanks her and the other bucket tippers for making it happen. So Tipping Bucket is really a mashup of one deal at a time retailing, micropayments, and money-back guarantees that leverages social media for social good. Here's a little about what this adventure has looked like so far. Last November, I literally woke up one morning with this idea in my head. By January, we had a business plan to enter in the BYU Social Venture Competition. April 09, we won that competition, and the Tipping Bucket was officially born. That summer is pretty much a blur, as is September, when I flew almost 40,000 miles, meeting with mentors, partners, and some really helpful critics. By October, I was in a bit too much of a hurry to get home and implement some of those ideas and broke a couple bones. I'm still paying for that one. This November, we established a fabulous board of directors, who through December helped us secure a Starting Block Social Innovation Fellowship and raise more than $40,000 in seed capital. January's big accomplishment was actually finding people who think they can work with me. And February, as of this afternoon, we are ready for our beta launch. That's where all of you come in. One of the best lessons of this whole adventure has been to always, always ask. For those of you who just want to dip your toes in, engage with us through social media.